Hey there, everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of the Digital Made Simple podcast, a podcast where we break down digital marketing and e-commerce for online businesses in a way that makes it actually make sense for business owners. I'm Alessandro Major, the Senior Sales Manager of Customer Relations here at Sapodil, and this show is all about helping businesses of any sizes, all sizes, with a special heart for those right here in the Bahamas. Here's the reality. 70% of Caribbean consumers now expect businesses to offer online options. But the truth is, many businesses still haven't made the leap. And this is why today's episode matters. Why going digital is no longer optional and what it looks like in practice. Here to help me unlock this and unpack this, I'm joined by someone who understands what going digital really means beneath the surface. Rithmond McKinney, the Manager of Cash Management and Product Specialist at Scotiabank Bahamas Limited. Rithmond, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. So, got a question for you. Before we dive in, Rithmond, tell me about your role at Scotia and how it connects to businesses navigating digital transformation.
So, I know my title says Manager of Cash Management, and that's really a whole lot. But what it really means in cash management, we look to find alternate ways using the bank's ancillary services to help clients manage their cash flow, which is the accounts receivables, the accounts payables, and really be able to have a deep dive in terms of their account activities. So we look at whether it's going to be merchant services, online banking, or the vast different solutions that the bank offers to really help modernize their business operations.
So talking about that and talking about how you kind of look at the analytics or look how businesses operate and what they need, the question that I have that I want to start with is, how have you seen a customer shift, especially since the pandemic, in businesses offering or wanting to go digital?
Well, the reality is that most businesses are reactive as opposed to proactive, and they're reacting to the way in which the customers or the cardholders' behavior has changed. Right now, I can tell you as a millennial, while I may not look as young as I would want to be, I don't really travel with that much cash. I look to find convenient ways to commerce. I remember when the banks introduced the first debit card and we were able to go online, go on Amazon and shop using what the shipping company used to be, where we get an order and bring it in. I think Express It, I think that was the name. Yeah. Right, so that changed the way in which we as cardholders, we as customers, commerce. We were spoiled. We didn't have to go out of our homes to go ahead and buy things. We weren't limited to the brick and mortar establishment or the operating hours. Right. So businesses had to adapt. And prior to the pandemic, the digital footprint or the digital aspect was an option as we talked about earlier. And since the pandemic, businesses really noticed that they had to adapt. It was funny during the pandemic, especially during the lockdowns, every business owner wanted to offer curbside, because that's the only way in which they were able to stay open. Right. So they started to introduce merchant services, or they were looking for like the wireless terminals, and then they saw that, hey, for me to really reach my client, I need to not only advertise online, but now I need to be able to find alternate ways to collect that revenue. And that's why I mentioned earlier about cash management, being able to manage the receivables. Right. So while you have the ability to say, hey, my account number is 12345, and let's transfer me that, while a lot of businesses don't even have that, you want to be able to accept payments. So the need to be able to take payments online, whether it's going to be through Facebook or through establishing your own website, has really became a staple or a necessary component to keep your business afloat. In the modern era, yeah.
It is. And the thing that I've realized a lot of times as Bahamians, I like to make this joke with people. I say, when we drive at home, we don't put on our seatbelt, right? But when we go to the States, the second we get over there, we click that quick. We click it real quick because we know that's what it is. And in some ways, I feel it's the same thing with going digital. When we go to the States, a lot of times, a lot of people now don't really carry money when we travel. We would use our card and we would use the card and swipe it in stores. But when we come home, we almost don't expect the same thing.
It's not even just that. And the buzzword really is convenience, right? And that's the big thing. The business owners now have to meet their client where they're at. And us as cardholders are spoiled, especially during COVID and our experiences outside of the Bahamas. We're spoiled. Remember, you talked about earlier in the opening, obviously our tourists are the digital client, the digital nomads. A lot of them don't even travel with the card anymore. Judge cash.
So true.
Judge cash.
So true.
Right? So you need to be able to facilitate contactless transaction. Now, obviously, just a shameless plug for Scotiabank. You know, we accept the Apple Pay and the Google Pay and Cash App and what's not. Again, because we're trying to assist our clients, our merchants, to be able to meet wherever their clients are, their customers are at.
Yeah.
So it's a partnership. Like I said earlier, we tend to be a bit more reactive, but as business owners, we have to be forward thinking, or I heard earlier, maybe a close second. You don't have to be the first, but at least a good second.
A close second.
A fast follower. I think that was the term.
That's it. That's all you have to be. And again, I think in the digital race and in the digital realm for businesses, whether you're first, second, third, it don't really matter. I think once just you go digital is the thing that's important.
Right. And from a digital aspect, there's something that a lot of small businesses forget, or they don't really value. I think I read somewhere that 80% of small businesses fail within the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And a significant reason why they fail can very well be access to capital.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Now, a big component, a big challenge in accessing capital is record keeping.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that digital component gives you immediate record keeping.
True.
So now you can validate, I made $50 today, I made $500. There's no guessing, there's no assumption. There's a track record. Now with that data, you can look at trends, you can look at the seasonality of the business. So it's a lot more to than just accepting payments.
True.
There's so much value in it that the clients or the business owners really need to embrace it, not be fearful of it, as we were talking about earlier, because it's a necessary component to keep your business alive, to be able to scale your business. You don't want to just limit a brick and mortar so only the people in your environment can come to your store, or now it's Nassau centric,
right?
Or you want to take on the risk of taking food orders, but now you're punching the card over the phone, and so it's so much components to this.
Yeah.
And again, that's my role, to really sit down and hold the customer's hand and say, hey, Mr. Brown, as opposed to doing this way, I know you're comfortable in this way.
Right.
Have you considered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Right.
This can help you scale your business.
Right.
This can help you save some money. This can help you save some time. Like, there's so many different aspects to it that where going digital is a benefit to the company.
In that same vein, Rithmond, what would you say to businesses who feel like digital transformation isn't for them? Like, I make the money that I make now, and I could just continue doing what I doing because I got cash and that sort of thing. What encouragement would you say to someone who has that sort of mindset right now?
That's a tough one. I mean, not necessarily, right? Because, growing up, you hear cash is king, right? And then when you talk about digital services and digital solutions, obviously they come at a cost.
Yeah.
Persons often underestimate the cost associated with cash. You have to house it. You have to store it. You have to keep it safe. And when you go and take it to the bank to deposit it, that's also a cost as well. So along with the risk of counterfeit and robbery and all these different components or theft, like there's so many different underlying costs associated with cash. So when you have businesses that only accept cash, they limit themselves firstly in the way in which they can accept payment. Right. Because from a convenient aspect, I want to be able, even if it's not merchant services, at minimum, I want to be able to transfer you.
Right.
So that's a form of digital solutions. I don't want to. If you only accept cash, that means I have to meet you during operating hours in order to pay. Like there's so many. Again, the buzzword is convenience.
Convenience,
right?
Yes.
So that's something that we have to hop on. And if you limit yourself, it's a zero-sum game. It's a race to the end. You have to find ways to evolve because the customers are moving. Customers are moving.
Yes.
Even the most essential businesses have digital channels.
Yeah.
You look at the way we pay our utilities.
Yeah.
It's digital. They moved away from that cash because it's an operational headache.
Yeah, it is.
Food stores and grocery stores are looking to introduce digital components, and those are the most essential.
They are.
They're the most essential.
Certainly.
The gas stations.
Yeah.
Everyone has looked at embracing change.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner that is set in your way, I would suggest and highly recommend to you that let's take a step forward. Not be as fearful. Even if you have to dip your toe, you may not have to dive head first. Dip your toe and get comfortable, ask questions, be informed so you can manage the necessary risk and concerns you have.
Agreed. And I think the thing that I like to tell businesses when they come and they want to develop a website or they want to get some sort of service, the thing that I tell them is that the reality is you as a small business, medium-sized business owner, you are the person that needs digital more than a big conglomerate because the conglomerate can hire 100 people to do something. You is only you. And I think the thing that people don't realize with digital is how convenient it is and how much it can streamline your processes and help you to get more done with the time that you have. And so I think even there is a great selling point in helping people understand that, the way you were probably writing up this thing, we could put that in the computer, we could get some things done and just help you to manage that a little better,
It's not just that, but we also have to, I guess, educate ourselves, and I'd say each one teach one, right? Technology has evolved so much, and as technology evolves, costs go down.
They do.
You remember when the first flip phone came out?
Yeah,
iPhones was like $1,200-$1,300.
Yes, sir.
Then since then, the cost of phones and technology has significantly reduced. The same way of establishing a digital footprint.
Yeah.
So to set up a full-scale website was thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's significantly different now. And as I said earlier, you may not need to dive head first, right? You can start a bit small. There are solutions such as the virtual terminal, which allow for, I guess, what we call it, the payment link or the URL.
Right.
So we have customers who don't have a website. So they advertise on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And if you have your customers there, because it's easy to advertise.
Yeah.
Now the challenge is, how do I collect this money
Correct.
in? Bing.
Correct.
Okay. So with that now, you have solutions like the virtual terminal. Even if you don't have a full service website, hey, I can speak to my customer via email. And I can send them this URL. Okay, you pay here. And that's how you manage it. That's how you start to grow and realize, hey, there's a need for me to really establish
Yes.
a footprint.
Yes.
Now let me look at Sapodil and say, hey, Sapodil,
Yeah.
I need to establish a website so my customers can see all of my inventory and make a payment at one spot.
Right.
So again, it's starting small, growing, and managing those obstacles.
So I think as we kind of bring this conversation to a close today, the question that I'd like to have for you is, what simple step, what simple practical step would you tell our listeners, our viewers today on one something or two somethings that they can do this week to get started?
What simple thing that I can encourage them to do to get started? Well, the first thing is to educate yourself. That's the best way to overcome those fears, those concerns. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of business owners have the belief that I can't go to my peers, another business owner, and ask, hey, what is the concern that you have? How did you overcome this obstacle? Or more importantly, speak to your banker. Like I tell my clients, and they say that it sounds like the beginning of a joke,
right?
And I say that every business owner needs to have at least three. Need to have a strong relationship with at least three persons: their banker, an accountant, and a lawyer.
True.
And every serious business owner needs to have those persons in their Rolodex or in their phone or in their log. Even if it's a good friend, doesn't mean you have to have an attorney on retainer if you're not big yet. But a good friend is the bank, just to make sure you ain't at risk. Right. And then embrace your banker. Every bank has a small business officer that manages a portfolio. What that means is all of his customers are business owners. He hears all of the problems and all of the solutions.
Correct.
So don't necessarily go to the bank only when you want a loan. Hey, Mr. Brown, this is the challenge I have. Any ideas, any guidance? How can I grow or scale my business? Again, while we're not necessarily advisors per se, but we can direct you, we can give you some best practices based on our experience. I've been in the bank 19 years.
Wow.
So I can tell you that I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
And I can say, hey, no, obviously not without sharing any trade secrets or what's not.
Correct.
You could be like, hey, have you considered doing X, Y, and Z? Move away from this because this puts you at risk of loss.
Yeah.
Or this is how do you mitigate theft.
Yeah.
Or X, Y, and so let's have the conversations. Don't be fearful. So the two things that I mentioned: one, ask questions, and two, be informed. Like, start to educate yourself. Well, the two of those are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing. Yeah. So that's how we got to move.
I love that. Awesome. And I think if today's episode has helped you, if today's episode has brought any level of clarity to you, tag a friend, share this with someone, let them know about the Digital Made Simple podcast. Our next episode, we'll be diving into digital marketing, demystifying business owners. So before we leave today, Rithmond, we have a special offer. We have a special offer that we want to talk about. Scotiabank will be offering a special offer to all of our Digital Made Simple podcast listeners. And for the first 3 months, they will waive the terminal fee and the rental fees, correct?
Right. So what that means is we want to encourage businesses, as I said, to adapt digitally. We want to be able to help them accept non-cash payments. So those businesses that have a brick and mortar, we're going to be waiving the 3 months for our terminal rental, so they can be able to accept all the major brands, the Visa, Master, Discover, Amex. Obviously, and our machines are equipped to do I think I mentioned earlier, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Cash App, all the necessary, what they call it, contactless solutions out there. We have both wired and wireless. So we want to be able to help you move away from relying solely on cash.
Yes.
And then also, as Alessandro mentioned, we would be looking to waive a lot of the setup fees associated with setting up an e-commerce website for you guys as well. Again, as our way of mitigating the small hurdle.
Yes.
We want you to try.
Yes.
So what this means is this is at no upfront cost
To you. Correct. And the thing is, you can try it, and then if you don't like it or if it doesn't work, then you return it. You lose nothing. You lose absolutely nothing. I love it. And again, Scotiabank is one of our partners at Sapodil as well. And so all of our websites that we do build does have your gateway installed as well. And so customers that are interested to come in, we can build that in, and all of that can be done for you as well. So again, if you're watching this, if you are a business owner, if you know a business owner, share this with someone. So as a quick recap of today's episode, if you'd like to take advantage of the Scotiabank offer or need help on your digital shift, visit our website today at www.sapodil.com/digital made simple. Are you inspired? Share this episode with a friend and tag them on social media. And as a bonus, use the hashtag #DigitalMadeSimple. Tag us today. Share with us your digital move, and I might mention you in a future episode. A special thank you to Rithmond. We appreciate you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A special thank you to our production partner, Streamline Media, for bringing this podcast to life. Their support makes this podcast possible. So until next time, always remember, digital doesn't have to be complicated.